kita punya training is about suicide prevention in children and adolescents. And we have invited our speaker, Cik Siti Aisyah from Hospital Permai in Johor Bahru. She's a clinical psychologist. Okay, so why do we decided to do a talk about suicide prevention in children and adolescents? Because as we can see, currently the suicide cases among children, among young people has been increasing. So from January 2009 to May 2020, 872 young people had committed suicide in Malaysia, according to the police statistics. And among that, 51% of the total suicide cases are from among children aged 15 to 18. So that is why we decided to do a suicide prevention among children and adolescents, so that all people in all levels, individual, public, community, can contribute in preventing the suicidal cases among children and adolescents. So now I will invite our speaker for today, Cik Siti Aisyah, to discuss about this topic. Cik Aisyah.
All right, thank you, Faraha, for the nice introduction. Okay, so without further ado, we just can you all see my slide? Can I?
Boleh.
Yeah, we will. Kita akan mix English and Bahasa Melayu. If let's say you don't understand, then you can ask me the question directly. Okay? Ataupun you can ask me from the chat box. Ataupun bagi tahu MC lah. Which one lah. Yeah? Okay. So what we are going to do today is sharing about the suicide prevention among the children and adolescents. So this is an overview about our sharing. Okay, so we'll talk about because this organized by the MHPSS, right? So I will relate with some principle of the PFA. So kita akan lebih nampak the connection. Combine theory, combine dengan practical, so we can see the big picture, how to do whatever we learn or our sharing. Okay, all right, and then suicidal situation, just a bit, and then the effective prevention strategies. Okay, so we will talk about this first. Okay, PFA action principle. Okay, so currently we are in the stage of preparation. Preparation meaning that we are learning on installing information about the thing that we think is very important for us to consider. So we are in the stage of preparation. Kita tak ada lagi, sekarang tak ada, masih semua orang masih menghadiri sharing ni kan. So it's a stage of preparation lah. Okay. And dalam preparation stage ni, okay, we also need to learn about the, let's say lah, if you, let me ask you your background. So semua MHPSS punya members or any mix from the others? Public also ada kat sini juga kan? Can I see how many of you chat subscription? Saya tengok chat.
Saya tekan chat tu nanti dia keluar. Yang register hari tu ramai juga, volunteer PBSM.
Saya suka kalau ada action, you know, how to see. Tengok. Yang register berapa?
Yang register dalam 60, so half of them PBSM punya
PBSM punya
volunteer. Ada juga yang saya nampak email macam cikgu kot. MOE email.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Sebab kita akan kita akan discuss juga sikit tentang school involvement. Sebab the first line for detecting ataupun identifying those who are at risk ni adalah from the school teachers. So it's good lah. Okay. Okay, so sekarang macam saya beritahu tadi, we are in the stage of preparation. Okay. And the principle yang you kena ingat ialah look, listen and link. Okay. So all the information yang kita dapat, kita akan look for the warning sign. So this the application lah. So look for the sign, look for the any kind of a symptom that you think this child or adolescent mempunyai risiko untuk melaksanakan ataupun melakukan suicide kan. Okay. And then listen. Okay. It's more about bila kita dah tanya, basically when we ask a question with our child and adolescent, kita akan listen lah dia mereka punya concern. So basically listening is very important because from this also kita akan formulate, maksudnya kita akan kena pasti apa yang diperlukan dan apa protective factor yang kita boleh beri ataupun dia ada protective factor yang dari segi apa yang boleh membantu dia untuk mengurangkan risiko untuk suicide itu. And then MHPSS kena ahli MHPSS ni ataupun those yang terlibat dengan aktiviti PFA ni ataupun yang mengetahui perkara yang berkaitan ni, perlu tahulah nak link ke mana. Lepas you dah jumpa, contohnya you dah suspect ataupun you kena pasti this individual have risk for the suicide. So what to do next? Either you intervene directly using the skill that you have, or if let's say like you are unable to settle by on your own, you need to link to others. Okay, so especially those yang ada psychiatric illness. So you need to know your ability or capability, whether you are able to handle the situation or not. Alright? Okay. Okay, this is some of the cases lah yang kita pernah dengar. Okay. 16 tahun, 16 years old girl killed herself after her Instagram followers vote for her death. Okay. Ataupun kita pernah dengar juga student found dead on the day of PT3 exam and so on lah. Okay. So a bit about the statistic. Okay. So saya nak highlightkan kat sini. So one in 5 teenagers mempunyai depression. Okay, 2 in 5 mempunyai anxious dan 1 in 10 stress. Okay, ini tahun 20, ini statistik ni dah lama ni. Okay, tapi kita boleh nampak dia punya the increment from the 2012 dengan 2017 increment so daripada contohnya kalau kita tengok sini, kalau kita tengok sini daripada 2012 6.4% kepada 7.3 plan. At time 6.8 to 6.9. Ni baru tahun ni, tahun 2017 ni. Tapi sekarang ni seperti yang Faraha MC kita introduce, memang kes semakin meningkat. Even dekat hospital Permai pun rujukan untuk kanak-kanak dan remaja yang dirujuk mempunyai self-harm behavior ataupun ada this kind of suicidal ideation dan juga attempt pun meningkat juga. Lebih lagi selepas COVID. Okay. So a bit about the definition. So suicidal ideation, intention. Intention to commit suicide. Kalau attempt, involving action. Okay, involving action. Alright. So kita kena ingat, bila ada suicide risk ni, dia associated dengan psychiatric illness. Itu sangat penting bila whenever you have identified the warning sign from the child and adolescent, basically lah, most of them have this kind of mental issues, which is especially mood disorder lah, contohnya seperti depression. Okay, ataupun ada juga yang involved dengan suicide atau substance abuse. Okay, how we relate with the MHPSS? Okay, sorry. Okay. So, kita dekat mana? So dekat sini kat bawah sekali ni, kalau you all nampak, nampak tak saya punya mouse ni? Nampak tak? Nampak Okay. Kalau bawah sekali ni, perkhidmatan asas dan keselamatan. Okay, so ini involve dengan ni lah, kita punya safety lah. Okay. Kedua adalah mengukuhkan sokongan keluarga dan komuniti. So it's involvement of the family and also the community. And lepas tu sokongan psikososial, dan yang paling atas adalah perkhidmatan klinikal. Okay. So sebenarnya kita dekat, kalau dos yang ahli PFE, kita dekat sokongan psikososial. Tetapi bila kita nak cerita tentang the prevention of suicide among the child and adolescent, sebenarnya dia lebih kepada perkhidmatan asas keselamatan dan mengukuhkan sokongan keluarga dan komuniti. Okay. So bila ada this kind of foundation, strong foundation, so dia akan mengurangkan risiko of suicide. Okay. Sebab tu ada involvement of kena ada involvement of school based prevention, community based prevention, dan bila keadaan tak boleh nak dikawal, barulah biasanya healthcare based prevention yang atas sekali tu yang terlibat. Okay, so that's why those teachers, when you have identified any of your student yang ada this kind of the warning sign, so you need to do something lah. So nanti later on I will sharing about the warning sign of that you need to look up at. Okay, and then community based prevention, so biasanya involve the involvement of the media and also the hotline. Okay, mungkin PBSM mungkin terlibat dalam community based prevention lah. Okay, because of you have a hotline kan, PBSM? Do you have hotline? Yes, have kan?
Ada.
So ada kan? Okay, so that's why ada MHPSS officer kat situ. So you ada involvement dekat community based. Kalau teachers, you involved dengan school based prevention. Okay, alright. So healthcare based prevention basically dekat di hospital lah. Contohnya saya di hospital Permai. Okay, so basically contohnya kalau macam referral, the pathway of referral before kanak-kanak ataupun adolescent itu di refer ke hospital Permai, biasanya mereka akan pergi ke klinik kesihatan yang berhampiran. So biasanya dari sebelum pergi ke klinik kesihatan yang berhampiran, mereka ini biasanya di-refer oleh teachers. So maksudnya teachers memainkan peranan yang penting untuk identify any student yang high risk for the suicide. Okay, nampak tak? Daripada sekolah ataupun daripada house, rumah, and then pergi kepada klinik kesihatan, lepas tu baru pergi ke hospital. Okay. Okay, so how to do? Okay, kita kena recognize sign of suicide, screening for the and managing depression and suicide risk assessment. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's say lah, the client is showing the strongest warning sign, so we need to take immediate action. Okay, what is the indicator of the strongest warning sign? For example, bila dia kata dia nak threaten to hurt or to kill themselves, or talking about the wanting to hurt or kill others or kill themselves juga. Okay. Looking for ways to kill themselves by seeking access to available pills or other means. Okay. And talking or writing about death, dying or suicide. Okay. Maksudnya di luar kebiasaan. Okay. So we can see lah whether contohnya kalau kita nampak kawan kita ni, for example kalau mereka biasa bercakap dengan kita, but tiba-tiba dalam 1 minggu tu suddenly isolate themselves. So we need to take into consideration lah. For example, something like that lah, changes behavior. Okay, other warning signs. Okay, kalau dari segi thoughts dia, okay, they find themselves in terms of their life ni tak ada purpose, no reason for living. Okay, hopeless. In terms of the behavior, so dia engage dengan high risk activities. Contohnya substance use, alcohol, okay. Okay. And then kalau emotion, ada dramatic mood changes. Okay, feeling sad, down, okay, ataupun apa-apalah yang berkaitan dengan emotion yang di luar kebiasaan. Okay. And then physiological, okay, dia disrupt dia punya function. Contohnya sleep disturbance. Okay. Okay, that's why lah bila kita kena ingat bila contohnya kalau we need to the basic we need to look at is whether okay, be able to maintain the sleep, meals and also activity. So kalau kita yang bisa katalah normal, kalau these 3 factor affected, so orang yang ada high risk pun these 3 factor also will affected juga. Okay. Alright. So kita nak pergi kepada screening for and managing depression. Kenapa we want to screen for and screening for depression? Because those who has depression, dia punya positive association dengan suicide ini tinggi. Alright. Okay. So that's why let's say lah misal kata you identify the symptoms of depression, so we need to also look for is there any risk for suicide. Okay. So basically kalau kita kenal kawan kita, mesti saya beritahu tadi kan, kalau kawan kita berubah in terms of dia punya emotion and also the behavior, so we can look for do something lah. Okay. And then how to manage depression? Okay, is combination of the medication and also psychotherapy. Okay, medication ni contohnya bila you jumpa doktor, okay, doktor akan lihat the severity for you, whether you need to take the medication or not. Alright, because each individual has a different severity of the symptoms. Some have mild, moderate, and also severe. Okay, so doctor will do the assessment and do the prescribe lah if you need the medication. Okay, some people only need the psychotherapy only. And some people need both medication and also psychotherapy. Okay, psychotherapy could be any kind of the intervention technique, okay, CBT, DBT, or whatever that is suitable for the needs of the client. Okay, and then if you can get access for the screening tools, for example, the PHQ, okay, Patient Health Questionnaire 9. Ataupun any kind of the question yang simple, BDI for example. That one is a simple screening question that you can ask for the client. Okay, so at least we have this kind of checklist ataupun objective assessment. So kita takkan terlepas lah pada maklumat-maklumat yang penting. So we look at some of the question of the PHQ. Little interest or pleasure in doing things. Sedikit minat atau keseronokan dalam melakukan kerja-kerja. So the client will indicate lah. This one is self-rating. So the client can rate and also can indicate lah dia punya score tu sama ada 0, 1, 2 atau 3. Okay. And merasa murung, sedih atau tiada harapan. Sama juga Okay, ataupun another example of the question. Woolies question. Contoh, okay, merasa murung, sedih atau tiada harapan, ya atau tidak. Kurang minat atau kesulitan dalam melakukan kerja-kerja. Okay, lebih kurang je. Okay, so bila dia jawab, so at least dia boleh classify diri dia dalam keadaan yang bagaimana. Okay. Okay. So let's say lah, misal katalah you do the PFA kan, bila you buat PFA activity, tak kisahlah using the teleconsultation, telefon ataupun face to face, and then you suspect this client has the risk for the suicide, so you need to do further assessment, which is suicide risk assessment. Okay, so this is a component yang you kena lihat dan buat. Okay, so first is you kena assess risk factor. Okay, and then you kena inquiry dia punya suicide thoughts dia, plan, intent or access to the suicide, and assess the protective factor, and also use your clinical judgment, dan kena document whatever you're finding. Okay, so what is the risk factor for the suicide? Okay, pertama, when they say like you call your client, then from the session you get the information that this client has the prior history of suicide attempt. So this is a risk lah, you need to take note. Okay. Okay. Kedua adalah comorbidity. Okay, like I said before, psychiatric disorder has a kind of increased suicidal risk. Okay, so most of the client yang mempunyai kebanyakan mereka adalah daripada depression lah. So mereka ada high risk for suicide. Or if engage with the high risk activity, for example the substance use. Okay, kita kena ingat sekarang ni banyak bila kita jumpa kes kebanyakan ada yang menggunakan substance use. Okay, because they don't know how to cope with their problem, so they want to forget their problem, so that this is one of the kind of the way they cope their problem, which is not healthy lah. Okay, so and then the fourth one is a psychosocial factor. For example, school problem, dia ada academic performance dia deteriorate, ataupun ada family history, suicidal behavior. Okay, ada ahli keluarga yang engage with the suicide activities, or poor parent-child communication. So bila selalunya kalau kita jumpa dekat this hospital, usually those who has problem in terms of the family system ataupun family dynamic, there must be something happen dekat dalam family tu. That's why dia punya social support ataupun dia punya support system dia tidak berapa kuat untuk protect ataupun membuatkan this child ataupun adolescent engage with this suicide behavior. Ataupun ada successful life event yang dia tak boleh nak tolerate. Sebab everyone ada stress kan, tapi dia tak boleh nak tolerate. Dia tak tahu how to deal with the challenges in their life. Okay, so these are some of the psychosocial factor. Okay, again, parent-child relationship problem also could be the risk factor for the suicide among the child and adolescent. Okay, ada case tu dia punya ayah tu kahwin, I mean the family tu is not balanced lah. So this child ada satu case dia ada 3 mothers, masih mak 3 lah, step mother and mak biological mother, and also step siblings. So in terms of the communication is not it's not good among themselves. So it's like macam porak-poranda lah keluarga tu. So this is one of the example lah. Okay. And then maladaptive response style. So related dengan how the child and adolescent tu cope problem in their life. Okay, some of the example of the maladaptive coping strategies. Okay, when they say to themselves, people should be able to handle their own problems without outside help. When they think they can deal with their own problem without support from the others, which is not good. Sebenarnya kita kena encourage our client if they ask for help. Okay. Kita tak boleh lah, ini sengaja ni nak cakap nak bunuh diri, nak cari perhatian, which is wrong. So whenever you get a call from someone saying that they want to suicide, so you need to do something with that. Ataupun they say lah, dia berulang-ulang dia punya suicide behavior tu. Instead of you put your assumption or this client want to seek for the perhatian daripada orang lain. So we tak boleh nak bagi buat assumption seperti itu. So we need to encourage their seeking help behavior. So after all, nyawa tu yang kita kena pentingkan. Okay. Sambung balik, example of maladaptive coping strategy. Okay, if you are depressed, it's a good idea to keep this feeling yourself. So which is wrong? Tak betul. Sebab kita kena, whenever we have a problem, we need to share with others. Okay. Others, apa lagi yang selalunya yang mereka engage? Drug and alcohol are a good way to help someone stop feeling depressed. Okay. Suicide are the possible solution for the problem. Okay, so these are some of the example for the maladaptive coping strategy. So maksudnya dia deal dengan problem tu through the passive way instead of the active way. Instead of deal with it, they avoid the problem. Okay, kita nak ke dalam sedikit tentang risk factor ni, sebab risk factor ni itu yang akan prepare for us to what to do next. Okay, so whenever we have to identify this kind of risk factor, so at least it can help or it can prepare us to evaluate further. Okay, kalau for the individual risk factor, okay, look for any previous suicide attempt. Okay, because this is the strong predictor for the suicide plan or suicide ideation later on. Okay, and the second one is if let's say they have the major physical illness, especially with the chronic pain. Okay, sometimes they don't know or they unable to bear with their pain because of long term, for example, long term pain. So this is a thing that maybe they think their life is not worth anymore, something like that. Or mental disorder, again, okay. If let's say they have the treatment for the mental illness, especially if they have the depression, so this is the factor that we need to look for. Impulsive or aggressive tendency. Okay, so we can see from the conversation between us and also the client whether they consider option or they just do without think. Okay, so from the conversation, from the way how they see things, the way how they look at the problem, this is how we can see whether they are impulsive or not, or they are able to carefully plan before take the action. Okay, and next one is history of trauma or abuse. Okay, especially related with the sexual abuse, for example. So these are some of the risk factor for engaging in suicide behavior. Or any family members or any history of suicide. Okay, especially for the child and adolescent. Okay, they learn from the modeling. Modeling meaning that they learn from the adult around them, especially from their parents. So they say that their parents die because of the suicide. So high probability for them to learn this kind of behavior from their parents. Okay, or triggering events. For example, loss of relationship, loss of healthy self, or financial status. Okay, contohnya, that's why lah kalau masa kita COVID ni kita akan nampak some increment of the suicide cases because of the financial status. Because bila COVID kan ramai tak dapat pergi kerja kan. So they don't know how to deal with their stress. They don't know how to deal with the lacking in terms of the financial. So and then they tak tahu how to deal with that, and then these some of the yang mereka buat lah bila dia tak tahu nak buat apa kan. So it's like that. Okay, tadi itu related with the individual risk factor. So we look now for the social or environment risk factor. Okay, for social environment factor, okay, chaotic family history. Okay, separation or divorce, change in caretaker, okay, change in living status, living station or resident. So macam this child or adolescent tu dia tak dapat nak having the harmonious family environment. Ada je konflik dekat rumah. So this kind of things contribute to the risk factor. And then lack of social support. They don't have any kind of people that they can trust or they can share their problem with. Some of them only hide or keep the problem with themselves. Okay, ataupun mungkin orang some of the case tu bullied by their peers. So no friends. Okay. And then easy access to or familiarity with the later means. Maksudnya apa? Dia ada easy access to the method lah. For example, kalau drug, medication or any kind of way to suicide. Okay. Kalau kita tengok dekat another perspective lain, societal risk, okay, involved ataupun exposed to media. Okay, for example, last year, if I'm not mistaken, okay, some of the Korean, I don't remember the name. Okay, one of the Korean, one or two lah, Korean actors suicide. So dia punya fans, some of them engage with the same behavior. Okay. Alright, so it's a thing lah. Okay. Alright, so kita dah tahu dah risk factor. So kita dah at least we know a bit about the risk factor that we need to consider whether this person having a risk for this or not. And then what to do next? Okay. We need to let's say we suspicious that this patient atau client ni ada intention to do suicide. So kita nak macam mana kita how you want to ask the question, nak tahu sama ada dia ni ada suicide intention ataupun plan or thoughts. Okay, first thing first, you need to use the non-judgmental approach. Meaning that non-judgmental ni maksudnya without imposing your own thoughts. Okay, you listen and contohnya kalau dia bagi tahu saya rasa hopeless. Okay, you just listen. Tapi kalau you imposing your own ideas ataupun your own thoughts, awak tak sepatutnya berfikiran macam ni, awak tak sepatutnya rasa macam ni. So you dah put your own judgement. So bila kita ask a question, okay, we need to be open-ended question, because from the open-ended question, we can get the exploration of the situation. We can get what the client think, what the client feels, right? Okay. They will ask leading question. For example, you are not thinking of suicide, are you? This one is quite tricky. How to explore whether, how to differentiate whether this is a leading question or we just want to look for the whether this client having thoughts to suicide. So later I will show you lah how. And then we also need to practice questions several times prior to clinical encounter. So before you you do the suicide risk assessment, you need to practice the way how you question to your friends first or your your partner lah. I mean sesama you all, okay, kalau you all nak buat, then you need to look for the feedback. When I ask this kind of question, what do you think? How do you feel? Something like that. So from the practice, you can see lah your performance and you can see whether it's suitable or not. You can ask that kind of question. Okay. Alright, kita tengok pada prior attempt. Okay, as what I said, okay, prior attempt ni strongest predictor for the future societal behavior. Alright. Let's say lah dia memang ada prior attempt, so memang we need to assess lah whether dia ada buat again ataupun tidak. Okay. For some of the question, have you ever tried to kill yourself or attempt question before this, for example? Okay, so before we ask this question, kita tahu dah dia ada risk kan, risk factor kan. So from all the risk factor tu, so we can see lah when we meet the client and then kita identify the risk factor and then we can see from the interview, so there is a prior attempt. So that's why kita kena tahu the history of the client. Okay, let's say lah, if they say like your question reveal no evidence of suicidal ideation, so you can just end the inquiry and document the finding. Tapi let's say like you have let's say like your client denies suicidal thoughts, but you suspect or you have inconsistency lah, you find that there is inconsistency, so you can clarify further. Okay. Alright, thoughts of suicide. Okay, some of the question, okay, you can see like this. Kalau you suspect your client has the thoughts of suicide, okay, you can ask. Okay, sometimes people in your situation, okay, describe the situation then. He lost hope. I'm wondering if you may have lost hope too. Okay. Have you ever thought things would be better if you were dead? Or with this much stress or helplessness in your life, have you thoughts of hurting yourself? And have you ever thoughts of killing yourself? All right. Okay. Okay. There's a research, whether asking about suicide may is a bit risk. Maksudnya akan memburukkan lagi risiko. So research question tu kata, dia tanya dia nak find out whether ask about the suicidal thoughts, we put the ideas in their head or exhibit their suicide risk. Okay, the results show that there is no association, no associated lah. Okay, and then the research cakap really associated with increased self-harm. Tetapi you need to remember lah, need to conduct the assessment in a sensitive manner and risk management protocol. Maksudnya, you don't ask the question just without plan. You using your clinical judgment and you know that is the right question to ask at that time. Okay, not simply just bagi tahu awak dia tiba-tiba dia tanya awak dia fikir nak bunuh diri. Tak, itu tak proper lah. So you need to be organized in terms of the way how you ask the question. Okay. Okay, let's say lah your patient ataupun your client has suicidal thoughts. Okay, kita nak tanya frequency, duration and intensity. Okay, contoh. When did you begin having these suicidal thoughts? Any stressor precipitate the suicidal thoughts? Okay. How often you have thoughts of suicide? How long these thoughts? Okay, how strong they are? Okay, what is the worst they have ever been? What do you do when you have these suicidal thoughts? What do you do when they were strongest ever? So these are some of the questions. Sebab we want to look for the frequency, duration, and intensity. Okay, because the frequency, duration, and intensity determine further plan whether this client need to have a high risk or mild, moderate, or high risk for the suicide. Okay, okay. Let's say lah the client ni intend. So we need to look whether this client want to carry out the plan, okay, or they just want to engage with the self-injurious behavior, for example, self-harm. So we need to differentiate lah whether this client just want to self-harm or really want to suicide themselves. Okay, and then we need to explore lah the reason to die and reason to live. And then we need to look at the aborted attempt. Aborted attempt ni maksudnya dia dah ada intention, dia ada plan semua tu, tapi last minute dia withdraw from the action. Okay, so all this kind of thing we need to look for lah. Kita tengok. And then consider the patient judgment and level of impulse control. Okay, ability to control dia punya impulsivity tu. And judgment. Judgment ni exploring lah dia punya thoughts and also dia punya emotion. Okay, it's good if we can assess the mental status examination. It's about the emotion, the affect, the mood, the thoughts content, something like that. Okay. Okay, these are some of the questions to assess intent. What would you accomplish if you were to end your life? Okay. Do you feel as if you are burdened to others? How confident are you that this plan will actually end your life? What have you done to begin to carry out the plan? Have you rehearsed what you do? Have you made other preparation? What makes you feel better? What makes you feel worse? How likely do you think you are to carry out your plan? What stopped you from killing yourself? Okay, some of the questions that we can ask for our client. Okay, let's see lah. After kita ask for the suicidal thoughts, we need to inquiry about the planning, kan? So some of the question, okay, if it's good if we can ask as specific as we can. For example, do you have plan or have you been planning to end your life? If so, how will you do it? Where will you do it? Okay, do you have the whatever like drug or whatever that you use? What is it right now? Okay, do you have a timeline in mind for ending your life? Is there something event that would trigger the plan? Something like that. Okay. Sebab nak bunuh diri bukan senang sebenarnya. Okay. So if let's say they already have the strong plan, meaning that they already think about that action a long time. Okay. Alright. Okay. This is very important. We need, okay, kita assess the warning sign. We also assess the intent. We also assess the plans, the ideation, all this kind of thing. We also need to assess the protective factor of our client. All right. For example, a sense of responsibility to family. Is there any indicator of this child adolescent feeling that if let's say like they don't, if let's say they die, what will happen to family, for example? Okay, kalau dia fikir tentang family, usually they end up they will cancel their plan, for example. Okay, or the level of their life satisfaction, how they view their life. Okay, social support. Is there any person in their life that can give support for them? Okay, and coping skill, how they manage, how they deal with the problem that in their life, problem solving skills. Okay, how they do, or again dia lebih kurang je seperti coping skill. Okay, cuma dia ada apa kind of proactive lah, instead of run away from the problem, they face the problem and look for the alternative to dealing with the problem. And then strong therapeutic relationship. Okay, this one is usually with the therapist and also the client lah. Okay, therapeutic relationship ni is indicator of the good intervention. Okay, regardless of whatever technique that we use. Okay, if let's say we have a good therapeutic relationship, okay, the client most likely will, the treatment plan will be successful. All right, and also the religious factor. All right, if let's say they know what they are doing is not according to the religion, okay, regardless of whatever religion, okay, any religion doesn't ask us to do harm to ourselves. Kan? So if they have this kind of strong belief in themselves, so they will find a way how to counter back or bounce back whatever they have in terms of the problem in their life. Okay, and last one is about the clinical judgment. All right, after all, the one we are dealing with the people is not same, meaning that each individual has a different in background, different history, different experience in their life, different childhood kind of exposure, different family history, whatever lah. So when we are using clinical judgment, meaning that we are evaluating all the factors in their life, we are evaluating the symptom, we are evaluating the risk, the function in their life, or this kind of thing. Itu yang akan prepare us for what to do next. Okay, so clinical judgment usually we can get from the way how we conduct the session, from our experience, and also from the readings, and also for them sharing like today lah. Okay, so all of this can give some kind of input for our clinical judgment. The more you encounter the suicide case, for example, the more you are experienced in dealing with the suicide case, the more you are knowing how to do next. Okay, and you need to know when you are dealing with the suicide case, you need to make sure that you are in the calm state, berada dalam keadaan tenang. Kalau you gelabah, let's say like you call ataupun you receive a call saying this client saying that they want to suicide. If let's say you are unable to make yourself, your emotions stable, how you can do the evaluation, how you can make use of your clinical judgment to capture the situation. So being able to be calm, okay, is a very important factor. Yeah? All right, we look at the, this one is just kind of summary, yeah. So we need to look at the warning sign, history, or any risk factor that we need to consider. Okay, if you suspicious that this client high risk for the suicide, so we need to ask do the screening for suicide thoughts. And then let's say like you find, oh, there is a high risk, so you need to further do the suicide risk assessment. Okay, and then after that, you need to do the risk management. Okay, risk management including, let's say like if you can deal with your own, you can do lah. Let's say like you think this client need to refer to the more professional person, so you need to ask, to refer the case to those who are more eligible to deal with that kind of case. All right. For your part also, you can do the safety planning. Later we show you some form that you can use lah. Okay, crisis support planning, documentation. Documentation is really important. Okay, because when we are documenting, we are processing the information. Okay, and also the reason why we are documenting, we also need to showing the client this a thing about you, so you need to understand about your warnings, sign, or this kind of thing. Sebab when we are dealing with the suicide case, we are not in the passive kind of method lah. Because kalau kita je yang eager to help them, but they don't have the commitment to do something to prevent the suicide, so it's the maksudnya low, dia poor lah prognose dia tu. Okay. Okay, so kalau you all tengok sini, okay, when I say about the clinical judgment, okay, you can see lah from this kind of what I can say lah macam graph ni kan. Okay, dia punya pathway ni, patient has suicidal ideation or any past attempt within the past 2 months. Okay, see right for risk factor and assessment question. Okay, so let's say lah we find out that the client has any past attempt, so we can see kita kena categorize, look for whether this client is low risk, moderate risk, or high risk. If let's say lah low risk, this client only has thoughts of death, no plan or behavior. It's passive kind of suicidal ideation. Okay, and still we need to evaluate for psychiatric disorder, stressor, and additional risk factor. And then again, okay, record any kind of treatment plan for this client. Okay. Alright, let's say like kalau dia moderate. Moderate means that this client has suicidal ideation but limited suicidal intent and no clear plan. Okay, and maybe has a previous attempt. So this is a moderate risk. So again, we still need to evaluate for the psychiatric or disorder, stressor, and additional factor. Plus, if let's say this client need to consume medication, or consultation with psychiatric, or any kind of let's say like dia ada substance kan, dia kena do some kind of treatment related with the substance, and also kena involved dengan individual or family therapy. Okay, and then kena strengthen social support system dia, okay, including the family members, close friend. Okay, and then again the documentation nak monitor lah dia punya progress. Okay, kalau dia high risk, dia memang ada suicide plan, memang ada rehearsal punya behavior. Kalau dia ada access kepada later mean contohnya gun ke, any kind of resources lah untuk suicide tu. Okay, good social support, impact judgment, psychiatric symptoms. Okay, ni dia punya kategori dia. Take action to prevent the plan. Alright. Apa beza antara yang ni dengan ni? Yang ni dia ada severe psychiatric. Okay, dia ada semua ada severe, memang dia ada history of psychiatric symptoms. Alright. Sini lagi teruk lah daripada yang this one. Okay. And then dia pernah ada sama ada doktor akan admit dia ke hospital, ataupun kalau you encounter this kind of situation, mungkin boleh call lah talian yang boleh membantu dia lah. And again, social support family member sangat penting lah, and also the documentation. Okay. So apa yang differentnya low, moderate dengan high risk ni? Kalau low, dia tak ada plan. Alright. Moderate ni lebih kepada suicidal ideation, tapi dia tak ada clear plan juga. Okay. And then kalau high risk ni memang dia ada plan dan juga dia ada this kind of rehearsal behavior. Alright, again, when we learn about this suicide, preparation of the suicide among the child and adolescent, okay. As what I said before, kita kena prepare ourselves with all this kind of information, because we need to know what to do if we encounter this kind of situation, and look for the warning sign, look for the protective factor. Alright, and listen using your your eyes, meaning that you need to observe. Listen using your ears, you need to listen actively. Alright, and using the open-ended question, clarify their thoughts, clarify their emotion. Alright, and link to others that is more istilah klien tu sesuai berjumpa dengan doktor or any kind of healthcare provider. We need to link lah if the client is beyond our ability to manage. Okay, so this example, this is a template for the patient safety plan template. So this is a very good form that we can use. Okay, this is the form that I use in my setting. Okay, so we have 6 steps. That's me. Step 1, okay, warning signs. Okay, is there any thoughts, image, mood, situation, behavior, okay, that a crisis may be developed. Okay. Step 2, internal coping strategy. Things I can do to take my mind off my problems without contacting another person. For example, relaxation technique or any kind of physical activity. Number 3, people and social setting that provide distraction. Number 4, people whom I can ask for help. Step 5, professional or agency I can contact during a crisis. And step 6 is making the environment safe, meaning that kalau ada knife ataupun something dangerous material around them, we need to keep maksudnya the access tu jangan bagi mudah sangat. Access tu maksudnya kena letak dalam tempat yang berkunci ke, something yang secure, not easy to look, not easy to access. Okay. This one is crisis support plan. So basically we use this together dengan family members lah. Okay. I understand that suicidal risk to be taken seriously. I want to have blah blah blah. Finding new way of managing stress in times of crisis. Okay, this I can do. Ni dia punya family members lah. Contohnya, okay, I can provide encouragement and support, help dia untuk apa, follow up dengan dia punya crisis plan dia apa. Ensure the safe environment, can remove all the any kind of means to suicide ke apa kan. Alright. Make sure someone is available to provide personal support. Okay. Pay attention to the method of suicide or self-injury. Restricted access to method. Okay. Okay. Limit or restrict access to recovery keys as appropriate. Okay. Identify. So banyaklah kat sini. So ada tantangan client and support. Orang yang support ni. I agree to follow this plan until blah blah blah. Okay. Alright. So this one is more used by the terapis lah. Okay. Okay. Kita cover lah ya. Okay. So dia ada caranya jugalah. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's all from me. Is there any question?
Thank you, Cik Aisyah.
Okay. Stop sharing
Tak sangka Cik Aisyah pada masukkan PFA sekali. Okay, saya open to all the participant lah. Kalau ada nak tanya soalan ataupun kalau segan nak cakap boleh put the question in the chat box.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saya nak tanya, ada tak efek media sosial menyebabkan ada suicide tendency dalam kalangan remaja dengan kanak-kanak?
Okay. Macam saya beritahu lah, one of the risk factor for the increment of the suicide is due to the influence from the media. So contohnya kalau let's say lah the fan of terlalu obsessed dengan certain artist for example, and then the media coverage too much about the matter, maybe because of the they explore and the way how they cover the punya story tu is not a healthy way. Contohnya dia boleh tahu macam mana orang ni buat dia engage dengan suicide, which is not good. Suppose media kena cover in terms of satu confidential lah. Kedua, in terms of instead of you reporting the step by step how that kind of a person engage with the suicide, the media need to put or write something related with the precaution ataupun what to do if you are feeling down, or what you need to do if you are having this kind of hopelessness, something like that. So instead of we are influencing others to have the idea of how to suicide, we need to promote the healthy kind of way to deal with the problem, something like that. Okay.
Pasal media hari tu pun macam kita baru-baru ni ada, saya rasa bulan lepas kot, ada dekat Twitter lah macam orang kata banyak retweet, dia tangkap gambar orang tu gantung diri dekat Malaysia lah. Gantung diri dekat bridge. And itulah, and I rasa memang kita to all the participant, kita punya role in making sure dekat media sosial kita tak post all the pictures.
Betul.
Yang cara macam mana dia bunuh diri. Maybe kita boleh cakap ada orang bunuh diri dekat sini-sini, but we cannot bagi tahu macam mana dia bunuh diri, siapa nama orang tu, macam tu.
Yes. Even sharing the information about the cases also is not proper. Istilah ada kematian yang berlaku disebabkan suicide ataupun whatever lah, disaster kan. It's not our job to share the information to others, because we are not the official ataupun orang yang sumber maklumat yang sahih yang kita boleh bagi tahu semua orang kan. So it's not good lah if let's say lah we receive any kind of the information related with the death of someone, we are sharing. Lebih lagi kalau ada yang berkaitan, contoh sekarang kan, contohlah saya relate dengan COVID case kan, kematian yang melibatkan COVID for example. Satu, kita kena ingat kematian ini menyebabkan the grief to the family members. So misal katalah family members, one of this family member receive the information from the media or receive from the WhatsApp. So how susah tau nak terima, macam it's not good, dan is delay their recovery sebenarnya. So it's not ni lah. So media is one of our part in dealing ataupun let's say lah we have some kind kita punya kawan ke ataupun ada connection dengan media ke apa kan, need to be careful lah in terms of the delegation of the information. Macam tu lah.
Kita ada satu soalan dekat chat. May I know how to differentiate between active suicide and passive suicide?
Okay. Alright. Kalau aktif ada plan. Kalau passive tak ada plan. So basically ada ideation in their mind. But still risiko tu ada. Okay. Simple je. Okay, lagi ada soalan?
Anyone ada soalan lagi?
Sekejap Saya tengok kat chat jap.
Aina apa ada?
Okay, just nak share Aina Ismail. Macam kenal Aina ni. CUS through the cerita 3 reason why decrease in youth suicide increase. Itu cerita pasal ya. Sebab tu is the media involvement ni, okay. Satu, we can't control lah. We can't control. We have limited power lah in terms of the controlling the information yang kita dapat. Okay, so macam internet lah. Kita access to all the information kan senang. Klik dapat kan. Cerita pula, it depends pada those yang melihat. Some people melihat cerita, contohnya cerita 13 reason tu because they want to learn. Some people want to learn. Some people want to know how to do. So it depends pada the maturity of the thoughts of the recipient. So that's why adalah impaknya macam tu. Okay. So benda ni tak boleh nak dikontrol lah.
Anyone? I have any question lagi?
Increase in youth suicide by 28%. Why family mostly embrace youth suicide? Kebanyakannya, okay, kita tanya why. Okay. Bila ada satu, we need to know one of the risk factor for the suicide is come from the poor relationship within the family members. So ada family dynamic kat situ. So the way they cope with the problem also ada problem. So maksudnya apa? Bila the way how they solve or the way how they look at the problem is kind of maladaptive punya way of maksudnya tidak sihat. Maksudnya dia orang tidak akan rasa benda ni patut diberitahu. Nampak tak? Maksudnya dia orang ada this kind of situation. Dia orang tak tahu nak deal dengan stress ataupun tak tahu deal dengan problem within family members. So they engage with the whatever lah they do kan contohnya. So let's say lah anak ataupun child ataupun adolescent ni they grow up with this environment. Okay. Dia tak nampak apa yang patut buat selain pada suicide because maybe dia dah memang learn behavior, maksudnya cara coping tu dah maladaptive, tak sesuai untuk dilaksanakan, tapi itu je cara yang dia tahu. Okay. So kalau dia malu ni, so maksudnya the way the system the belief system dah tidak betul lah. Dia tak tahu, dia memang itulah cara yang dia respon. Kalau mereka tahu how to deal, how to handle the problem, so they can react more proactive way lah instead of being shy ataupun keep hidden dalam family members saja. Okay, so these are one of the possible explanation lah kenapa some family members kalau boleh dia nak close ataupun dia nak rahsiakan tentang suicide. Itu satu. Kedua, perkara yang berkaitan dengan suicide ni adalah sesuatu yang cultural kind of tabu lah boleh kita kan. Kalau ada family member yang bunuh diri, satu dah langgar, satu dah menunjukkan kan, ingat tak religious factor kan. So kalau family members tu dia punya cara kehidupan dia mungkinlah ada mengikut aturan agama, tetapi end up ada family members yang bunuh diri. So dia dah konflik lah dekat situ. Konflik. So banyak sebenarnya. This some of the explanation lah yang kita boleh kena pasti. Tasha? Ainat. Why kids nowadays kurang grit and resilient compared to older generation? Orang berumur saya cakap, budak sekarang zambi adalah salah stimuli, express, skill tahan je, boleh survive. Okay. Alright. Dia sebenarnya, okay. Soalan ni, very good question. Kalau dulu kan, okay, kita imagine kalau dulu masa zaman saya, kalau cikgu denda, contohlah cikgu denda berdiri ataupun rotan dekat kaki ke apa kan, kita akan, how we respond adalah kita terima dan kita follow lah. Tapi sekarang the way how our generation, new generation, Alpha generation ke apa kan, generasi yang terbaru ni, the way how they respond is a bit different. Satu, kita kena ingat the exposure they receive. Okay, exposure they receive ni most probably from the environment juga. Contohnya daripada family members, again family members. Okay. Kedua, daripada mungkin daripada teknologi. Sekarang ni kalau dulu kita tak ada handphone, ramai bila dah kerja baru ada handphone kan. Tapi sekarang ni sekolah rendah pun dah ada handphone. Okay, maksudnya nak aja dapat, contoh macam tu. So the level of tolerance to stress kurang tinggi, maksudnya rendah. Some people kalau nak sesuatu they will do on their own, buat sendiri, usaha sendiri, baru you dapat. Tapi kalau let's say lah you minta je dapat, itu pun dah membuatkan dia punya the way dia nak tolerate dengan stress tu akan rendah. Okay, so for me Aina kan, for me is all about the upbringing. Itu satulah. Tetapi kita tak boleh nak katakan contohnya family members tu dia tak kisah apa pasal anak dia, doesn't mean that anak dia tak boleh nak survive dan hidup. Lain, tak boleh juga. Sebab ada je yang come from the family members yang kita katakan porak-peranda ataupun ada isu dalam family member tapi dia still boleh berjaya. So it's again related dengan individual factor pula. Macam mana dapatkan individual factor ni? So kena kita lah sebagai orang yang melakukan advocacy ataupun information, delegation of information, kita strengthen lah individual yang mungkin mempunyai risiko daripada environment mereka. At least dia orang boleh tahu, oh walaupun aku lahir daripada keluarga yang bermasalah, doesn't mean that I will follow their step. No, it's related dengan individual juga. Because whatever in their life, in your life is your decision. You need to be responsible with your life. You can't blame others. Itu. Kita kena bagi satu kind of responsibility. Kalau semua perkara kita nak blame others, which is tak ada jalan lah, tak ada solution. So instead of blaming others, we need to build up ourselves, growing ourselves, supaya kita boleh move on dan teruskan kehidupan. Okay, Aina, adakah saya menjawab soalan? Okay, is there anyone? Ada lagi nak tanya?
Lagi?
Tapi ada juga maksudnya okay, satu kita tak tahu, okay, kita tak tahu apa yang misal katalah kita ada kawan ataupun siapa-siapa yang kita kenal kan, we never know what they have gone through from their life experience. Okay, so support system, kita sebagai orang yang memberi support ataupun kita kenal pasti perubahan orang-orang sekeliling kita, itu sangat-sangat baguslah. Okay. Kedua, we ourselves juga. Okay, don't forget about ourselves. Okay, when you are doing the PFA kan, kita kena jaga diri kita tu, itu priority lah. Self care activity tu sangat-sangat penting. Alright. Alright, ada lagi nak tanya soalan?
Ni tak ada lagi.
Tak ada.
Thank you so much Aisyah.
Okay.
Okay, for all participant, kita ada lagi satu segmen sekejap je. Kita nak buat game sikit. I share. I hope semua participant adalah nak join the game. Boleh nampak tak?
Nampak?
Okay. So, semua orang boleh buka yang www.kahoot.it and masukkan nombor PIN ni. Kita akan main macam true or false game lah. True or false game about mitos and fakta about suicide. Okay, ada nampak seorang masuk? Can anyone else join? Okay, lagi-lagi. Lagi yang nak join? Nanti ada tunjuk siapa yang dapat markah tinggi lah lepas kelas tu bila dah jawab. Okay, lagi 11 orang. Okay, dia masuk 13. Okay, anyone nak masuk lagi? Kita boleh start. Alright. Alright, cukup kot 18. Anyone nak masuk lagi? Oh, okay. Okay, kita lock. Lagi ke nak masuk? Alright, kita boleh start. Okay, true. Ramai yang jawab true. Okay, betul. Suicide can be prevented. Sebab itu kita ada all this awareness punya program untuk kita tahu macam mana cara kita boleh tolong and take a step. Okay, kita go to the next question. Siapa yang paling? Okay. Okay, Jiashin paling cepat jawab. Alright. Okay, talking about suicide or asking if they feel suicidal, we encourage suicidal attempt. So macam tadi ada Cik Aisyah share, bila kita cakap dengan orang tu actually kita tak adalah encourage dia untuk suicide attempt, but bila kita provide the space untuk dia share dia punya problem, then we can take action to further prevent the suicide punya behavior. Alright, okay. So kita tengok siapa. Okay, Jiashin still mendahului. Alright, okay, kita go to the next question. Right, okay. So semua jawab false. Alright, betul. Okay, so selain daripada masalah percintaan atau keluarga, memang ada masalah lain yang boleh mendorong dorang untuk melakukan perbuatan bunuh diri lah. Tapi masalah percintaan dan keluarga ni pun salah satu faktor, tapi bukan the only factor. Okay. Okay, next question. Okay, false. Betul. Bila orang tu, especially children atau adolescent, dia ada cakap pasal suicidal ideation atau intention, it's not necessarily yang dia nakkan perhatian, tapi it's like a cry for help. Yang diorang ada masalah yang diorang nakkan bantuan. So daripada kita just macam ignore the statement sebabkan kita rasa dia nak ambil perhatian je, is actually not a right step lah. Apa-apa pun kita kena still tanya. Okay. Next question. Okay, good. Jawapannya memang false. So maksudnya yes, memang ada setengah case suicidal yang kita kena refer to professional, tapi when it start within individu atau community tu sendiri pun kita dah boleh actually prevent the suicide. And kalau pergi psikoterapi pun maksudnya atau jumpa profesional atau terapi pun intervention tu akan bergantung sangat-sangat, akan rely heavily on family and individual punya commitment. Okay. Kita ada 10 soalan. Okay. Okay, betul. So kalau diorang dah pernah buat before this, ada ke risiko besar untuk diorang buat lagi lah in future kalau kita tak ambil, kalau kita tak intervene awal-awal. Okay. Cepat Jason jawab. Okay. Jawapan yang betul is semua ni. Bila antara warning signs lah, di kanak-kanak atau remaja ni memang biasanya dia akan withdraw from the social. So tidur pun sama ada terlebih atau terkurang. And then dia akan mula bercakap lah pasal kematian. Alright. Sikit lagi. Oh, Kak Amy dah potong. Alright. Okay, false. Pandai lah semua orang. Okay, so untuk kanak-kanak dan remaja, kadang-kadang diorang punya depression tu boleh jadi juga kepada destructive behavior ataupun lebih kepada impulsif atau agresif. Okay, next. Okay. Separuh jawab false, separuh jawab true. Okay, banyak jawab true. Okay, jawapan dia is true lah. Walaupun kat Malaysia kita tak ada statistik yang betul lagi untuk bawah 12 tahun. Tapi ada, kalau kita baca berita, sebenarnya ada beberapa kes yang umur 5 ke 12 pun yang cuba untuk bunuh diri. Dan dekat US pun lagi tinggi statistik untuk umur yang macam ni. Untuk ada suicidal case. Kita pergi last question. Okay. All kids, okay. Soalan ni macam tricky sikit lah. Sebenarnya tak semua remaja atau kanak-kanak yang diorang actually plan untuk buat attempt. Kadang-kadang ada yang very impulsive punya behaviour. Ada yang plan tapi ada juga yang, tapi tak semualah. Biasanya ramai yang diorang impulsif sebab diorang pun macam tadi, diorang pun tak selalu sedih. Kadang-kadang diorang lebih pada destructive behaviour atau agresif. So ada kadang-kadang yang dia punya attempt ni is more impulsive. Kita tengok siapa nombor 1. Ni Tasha mana ni? Fresh. Satu. Tahniah Kak Amy. Difficult question. Okay. Thank you semua yang join the game. Kak Amy menang. Yay, okay. Kak Amy is kita punya orang lama dalam NHPSS. Okay. Thank you for the great sharing, Cik Siti Aisyah. And so to the secretary, okay, thank you for all the participant yang datang join kita punya talk hari ini. Oh, okay, ada orang request group photo before kita habis. So bolehlah nak group photo semua orang, siapa yang ready nak buka video, kita boleh buka video. Okay. Siapa nak tangkap? Sekejap, tangkap.
Tengah kerja.
Siapa?
Tengah kerja.
Tengah kerja.
PPV.
Oh, PPV, okay. Okay, ada lagi. Ada kita nak open kamera. Ada agak gambar. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sekejap lagi sekali.
Saya buka.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much siapa yang datang hari ni. So from this program.
Feedback.
Yes. Kita semua boleh take action. Okay, and I would be kita orang nak minta tolong kerjasama semua participant untuk isi the feedback form.
Will you sharing the link?
The link yang dekat chat. Zati.
Okay.
Sekejap dah copy sekejap
Yang nak scan
The slide, right? The slide.
Dekat chat, link ini ada chat.
Will you share the link of the slide?
Ada. Oh, slide.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you semua yang hadir. Thank you so much Cik Aisyah.
Terima kasih semua.